Below and Team Right. All of these teams except Far Below were the second team coming out of their pool. But Far Below did win Pool A, but there's only two teams that get a bye, and because there aren't the same number of teams in every pool, they just determined the seeding for the byes to the semi based off the draw shot challenge, and Far Below was not on top of that one, so they are here playing Friday night in the quarterfinal. We've got a mic on team or a mic on Team Right, but unfortunately isn't quite working. Hopefully we'll get it fixed at some point in the game. So we have Team Right available, and I'll have to bring that on here. We will mostly be featuring sheet 3 if we get the chance to use our single sheet view, but as we have the mic on sheet 5, we'll be trying to go back and forth a reasonable amount. So far, we've got a little bit of a cleaner sheet on sheet 3. Just a pair of corner guards, a little tight to each other on the outturned side. Meanwhile, over on sheet 5, we've got a lot more rocks in play. This appears to be Mike Far Below. Steps, first stone. Far Below should have hammer behind. It's a pretty good throw. Far Below struggling still. I'm assuming Far Below gets the hammer. That is the case. The Team Right gets the hammer. Far Below nicely plays the hammer. Right gets the stone. Hopefully this audio is a little better. I'm going to have to recalibrate it in another 30 seconds, but going to assume it is. Here comes Mike Far Below throwing over on sheet 5. This one needs the curl. Does get one. Team Right's going to go replace it. And I think this is Right's last without hammer. Far Below does have the hammer. Thought I was seeing two Yellowstones back there that were not there. Thank you very much, Kathy Justice, for confirming the audio. Yep, I've got to just wait. I got to switch headphones over to my phone and see how it ends up on the stream 30 seconds later, and you did just save me a few of those precious seconds. Team Wright's really working on this one. And they do get it buried. And they did have the hammer. I've only switched my opinion on that a few times now. And that will be a score of 2 to open the game for Team Wright. I guess they're from different pools, so Farbelow didn't already get the hammer, but Farbelow being the higher, I guess the chance they got choice and Farbelow took rocks. But my assumption would be that Farbelow would get hammer and rocks, so this surprised me a little bit. And yeah, they went from not even getting hammer to now being down 2 after the first end. So a tough break for Farbelow in the first. Meanwhile, Team LeClaire posted a point over on sheet 3. Alright, we're going to get a chance to take a look at our sheet 3 only view. We've got a little bit more of an interesting end this time. We got a center guard, a rock top 12 center line, and kind of an off the center line rock in the back 8-foot for Team LeClaire. And Hull has got one top 4, and they're looking to draw and put another one there. As this rock comes down, it does bounce a little bit. Probably going to have access. I don't know if they can make the double and roll out, but they can at least hit the top one, roll away a little, hit the second one, remove the second one, and roll that top one out in the open. Got Tim Ho's mic coming in and out here. Hopefully it can establish itself. But for now, they were able to get a miss there and have a chance to throw another one on top, maybe guard it, throw another one in the rings. A lot of good spots for Team Ho to place this stone. I'm going to try to bring this one a little bit deeper and get some finish. Probably just left the triple. You have to throw it really hard. Not sure it's going to happen, but it's in a spot where I think at least one or two of the yellows can be removed while keeping the red in a good spot. So an opportunity for Fred Maxey here. And to bail out his teammate. It's hanging a little wider than they want. Gets by the guard, real tight. There's one. Yeah, just need to throw it harder. Always the solution. But I think they might have, I don't know about shot rock. If not shot, second shot out of that. I think well, they're all pretty close. Yep, Benj puts his hands up. He's not sure. Take a look at the wide angle here and listen in to Team Right in a second. Team far below is throwing a draw. Trying to get it half buried around the two near the center line. And here's Tim Ho's rock. Just a nose hit for Ho, but that's pretty good. And Team far below is also able to get theirs mostly buried.
Line's good.
Team Right likes the line out of hand.
Close, guys. Close. Close.
I think they're just calling a freeze on this rock in the back forefoot. And that's a little on the heavy side. Bounces and rolls open. Still shot rock, so Team Farbelow is going to have to deal with it if they want their other yellow, possibly yellows, to count. That back yellow is pretty close to that top red in terms of which one's closer.
Just control.
Farble ends up making a nose hit, and Ho comes through the rings. Be interesting to see what Team LeClaire chooses to play here. Could draw to the middle, but shrink the rings pretty quickly if they do that.
Chris.
Over on 5, I think they're kind of trying to hit and roll to a spot where they're kind of splitting the rings, end up rolling out. But
I don't know, that
I think their second shot.
Good release, right on the broom.
Mike Farbelow's trying to find the best spot for this stone. Like just crossed the center line. Full top 8 is what they're looking for Rich Ruinen. After a rollout on sheet 3, Benj Guzman has a chance to come around the center guards and lie 2. Although the more I look at those top stones, it's close. I'm pretty sure the yellow's shot.
Straight back. Normal.
Normal weight double is the call for Team Right.
It's getting better. Go, Paul!
We keep getting flashes of brilliance from Team Ho. On the double, ends up spinning up and out on sheet 5. I think red is still sitting 1. I shouldn't say still, is now sitting 1. And yep, thanks Mike for tapping on that to confirm.
Yeah, exactly. What do you like? Do you want to put another one up here? Yeah. Yeah, I do. It does. It just.
Can
it
listen
doesn't-
in.
it just has to outcount that.
Steve Waters here and figure out what Team Right's gonna call.
I don't think mine will move as much as Russ's.
Sounds like either hit and roll or a draw.
Yeah, just top 8. Just outcount. There's
Gonna draw.
And short is
Not
the
yet. Can't do it. Not yet. Whoa. All right. Yep.
That's okay. Easy.
Team Right thinking they're a little on the heavy and wide side.
All by itself. All by itself. All by itself.
All by itself on the sweepers to watch this
Sorry,
one
guys.
finish. And yeah, they're not too happy. A little heavy, a little wide. Still a good spot.
I said the miss was short and I missed it long.
See what it leaves Team Farblow. They've got 2 rocks here to try and generate a multiple score, and there's a lot of red to move.
Goes.
Meanwhile, Team Ho was able to score 2 and draw to the full 8-foot on Benj's last. So they take a 2-1 lead
Okay.
into the third end.
Okay. Do that.
If you hear a little more noise on the ambient mic, Team Larway just came out onto the ice for their day off practice. If you're a playoff team in a major championship and you have a day off waiting for your next game, you have the option for some practice ice, usually in the range of 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes just 15. Good chance to verify your match that you have on the stones and get in touch with any changes that might be happening with the ice. It's hard to break the sheet down in a way that's similar to a game, but it gives you the opportunity to stay warm and engaged in the game. Sometimes take a day off, a lot can change. Team Ho with an opportunity on sheet 3 to hit and stick and split the rings. And they do just that. That's without the hammer. So not an opportunity to score multiples as much as it is an opportunity to force Team LeClaire if they can hold the split rings throughout the duration of the end. No simple feat. More often than not, a good hitting team can follow up a hit and roll with a double at some point throughout the end, as Team LeClaire is attempting to do right now. Just hit and roll off one of the stones closer to the other one. And then if your opponent doesn't roll back the other way perfectly, you'll end up having a double. So here's Team Ho's chance to roll away. Nose and the rocks are close together, but they're fairly flat, so not an easy double, but it's there. Meanwhile, over on sheet 5, Mike Farbelow is drawing against 3. On intern side, if I'm not mistaken, I think most of the draws this end have been thrown on the opposite outturned side. Be more difficult from an ice reading perspective to play on that side that hasn't seen as much use. Rich Ruohonen sweep pretty hard. Tim Stolen's on and off. Rich is really leaning on it now. They think they gotta go. It's close. Great sweep. Rich Ruohonen earning his pay. Still end up taking a 1-point deficit without the hammer into the next end, but it's a lot better than giving up a steal, especially a steal multiple. Important shot there for Team Farbelow. Take a look over at just sheet 3 now. They did nose that stone. Team Ho did, and it looks like maybe a double attempt was missed altogether from Team LeClaire. It's now an opportunity to throw a center guard on that rock near the center line.
Close. Yep.
Bit on the heavy side. Ends up being a split. They could have called it in the rings and not the guard. Bob LeClaire is lining up a double, calling firm rate. Baird's second stone of the end. Ends up hitting and rolling next to and slightly on top of the center line rock. That's not a bad spot, probably the best spot he could be without making the double. Now, Tim Ho needs to throw this to hit it on the high side, the left side of the stone as we see it, to not also lose the yellow that the red's partially frozen on. Hits it a little thick, and it kicks that yellow over. Let's see. Yeah, it hangs in there. So it actually ends up being a great result for Team LeClaire. A lot of separation between their stones. Or other way around. Great result for Team Ho. Another double. It just doesn't quite work out. Red Maxey throwing that one. And it's the senior mistake being on the right end of the miss. Always keeping their shooter around to where Team Ho has to deal with it. All it takes is one missed hit and roll attempt that overcurls and jams the wrong way. and Team Leclerc is completely out of the end, and they didn't have to do anything to get there. Of course, it takes a pretty substantial miss, but the opportunity is always there. And this one sticks around. So 3 rocks towards the wings. A good chance the Team Leclerc is going to have at least an open draw on their last to score, but it might be against a few. Opportunity for a nose double as Fred Maxey comes out of the hack. Sweepers are off this one so far. And there they both go. Shooter has a piece of the rings. Not sure if it's shot. I think it might be. Even if it wasn't shot, that would give Team Ho the opportunity to throw in a draw to split the rings somewhere, but there's not really any good spots that don't leave a double. And then if Team Leclerc is able to follow that up with the double and lie two, all of a sudden the end that Team Ho controlled the whole time has escaped them. But this shot is a sneaky level of difficulty as well. If it's just nosed, then it won't be in the rings. And Team Leclerc can hit the backstone. It is in the rings and have an opportunity to blank. So this needs to be made well. They have to hit somewhere inside the nose and roll in. And it won't do that. Hung out there. The last few stones that have been thrown on that line have all been on the wide side. As a path gets broken down, more rocks, more sweeping, it does tend to straighten out.
Also,
taking a look at sheet 5. Far below has been throwing up center guards back and forth, trying to protect their stone in the back 8 foot. It's not a stone that they feel can score, but it's a stone that they feel might be able to force. Team Right's going to call this peel on the center guard.
Yep. All right. That's fine.
It jams on their corner guard, leaving an off center. So now when Team Far Below comes and throws this draw, there's not really going to be a draw path. Maybe a very small port between the red and yellow guards.
I know.
So that makes life a little more difficult for Team Right,
Okay, I missed,
as it takes away a potential draw path for them on their last stone, or maybe even skips first or a third's last, or they're trying to find a way into the middle. Back on sheet 3, Leclerc rolled out on their hit and stick attempt, so an open draw for Team Ho. Important factor with that is to find paint and make Bob Leclerc throw a blank out. If it slipped all the way through the rings, you would just be giving Team Leclerc a free blank. And the blank's not a shot that's always made.
Oh, wait a minute.
Almost a really sneaky triple from Team Right. It ends up just being a double. A really good double. Now they don't have that compromised in-turn draw path I was just talking about. So just the one rock that Team Far Below is guarding. And a nice blank out from Bob Leclerc on sheet 3. They're going to bring the hammer into the fourth end. Down 1. They can manage to score 2 in this fourth end. They'll be in a pretty good position, up 1 going into the second half of the game, and they'll be pretty happy. If that's the case, then they will have had a hammer in 3 of the 4 ends in the first half of the game, which is kind of a good example of how powerful starting the game with the hammer can be. Another made guard from Team Far-Below on sheet 5. Sean Silver is going to be peeling this one out.
Yep. Shot, Sean.
Another make.
Yep, got it. Thanks. Good shooting. No, I don't want to. I didn't want to come around because we'll just put it on top of us. But I just. Yeah, I know, but if we can somehow blank it, that would be great. If he throws tight, we can try to run back and get a roll.
Another center guard coming for Team Far-Below. This one, the sweepers aren't as enthusiastic about. All the other ones have been very well managed. And it's going to slide into the rings.
Yeah, well, it came over the top, yeah. You think so? Okay.
So a chance here
Straight double, that's tight.
for Team Right.
Yeah.
Make a double. Here's Team Ho's draw around the center guards on sheet 3.
Yeah, it gets rolled as well.
Coming a little deep.
That's nose, isn't it? What do you think? Try to hit and roll out? Same weight. I like it.
Great double takeout was made by Steve Waters over on sheet 5.
Like it if we stick, we stick. Same weight, just a touch more ice.
And then followed up with a hit and stick. They are going to have that chance to blank. Really working the outside carve on this one. You don't want to miss it all together. Oh, they're going for the Brooklyn. It started a little bit tighter than they wanted to. So rather than try to sweep it straight when they know they're not going to have a chance, they tried to sweep it to curl and over curl it. Got halfway there, but not enough. That is going to be a force of 1. So Team Wright is going to have a 3-1 lead without the hammer going into the 4th end.
Glad you didn't.
Taking a look over at sheet 3, we've got a center guard, an off center guard, a few rocks in the rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Team LeClaire
Okay, so just go, yeah.
calling just a single peel on that off center guard, the higher one. No mistake there.
Top 4.
Another clean throw from Jeff Baird. Sweeper's dream to just hear clean out of hand on a straight peel.
Curl, curl, curl. Oh, it doesn't need it.
Now an opportunity for Tim Ho. More of a choice, really. They're, I think, looking at coming to the top rings, maybe top 12 here, but it leaves a really short run double, or it's also a short distance to come around the guard, so you'll probably leave a good piece open attempting to come around, which isn't ideal. So they're thinking about also throwing the guard. I think the final decision is to come in. End up making a bump. I'm not 100% sure if that's what they called, but it ends up being a decent outcome. It does leave a triple for Team LeClaire, potentially. Get these top 2 and might catch the one in the back as well. And if it spills out on our right-hand side of the sheet as we look at it, they might be able to sit 2. Would be an incredible shot, but here's Fred Maxey giving it a whirl. Hanging early. Got some curling to do. Guys are on it. 1, 2, just slides over the top one. But rolls to half buried under the guard and on the other side. With it being on that other side now, if Team Ho comes to chase it or throw a hacker board weight dig, it might jam on that red, or the yellow, but more like the red stone in the back. And if it, even though it removes another red, it'll probably outcount the yellow now, whereas that other red right now is not. So here's Tim Ho. Trying his dig. It's delicate. He's got to punch it in a spot that doesn't jam, roll, and make sure he's full 12-foot. It's tight out of hand. The sweeper's got to get it by the guard. It does. Makes solid contact going towards the other red. Does jam it, but it's really close. I think it spilled just enough to where he still shot. Rolls out of the rings, though, on that attempt. So I assume that's a lot more weight than they're trying to throw, because that's about as thick as they could hit it. If you end up papering the guard and still rolling out when you thought you had a chance to stick around, good indication too much weight was played. But now they've put Fred Maxey and Team LeClaire in a position that come around the center guard where Team Ho is the shot stone. So if this was a miss, and I think it's a decent make, but the opportunity is still there. They can throw another dig now on the other side and lie 2. Fred Maxey could have elected to try to hit that back stone and just guarantee that they're sitting 2, but then that would have left the door open for Team LeClaire to come around the center guard and beat him to the punch at controlling the forefoot. I think this is a shot most teams would play. It's just unfortunate that if you don't make it quite as well as you'd like is what happened here, it leaves an opportunity for Team Ho to hit and lie 2. Gets by the guard and barely by the back yellow. They're going to lie 2. And here's Bob LeClaire attempting this double. It's hanging but not carving it, so I have a chance. Gets 1. Barely misses the back stone. Just had to catch a little more curl. Makes that, and he's sitting 2 with the last rock. Doesn't quite get it. So now Benj Guzman on his last stone of the end and of the half can sink one underneath the center guard and be in a position to force or steal. This one's hanging a little wide. Sweepers are on and off, but now all the way off, so probably a little heavy. Here's Tim Ho trying to sweep it back behind the tee line. So Tim's mic, it has a hardware problem. It's not working.
Okay.
So I'll end up.
It's like, nope. Bust right off that. I can broom each other.
So now practice is over for Team Larway. I am accompanied by Doug Kaufman. How was
Evening,
practice, Dougie?
Practice good. Practice was good. Just getting out, just staying loose, throwing some shots. The team's playing well this week so far, so not really working on anything. Just trying to stay loose, stay fresh, and just make sure we're still throwing it at the broom.
Yeah, clear. That's important. You guys ended up being the 1 seed coming out of your pool. I think would you end up being the 1 seed or the 2 seed overall? Do you know?
We were the 2 seed coming into the event, 1 seed after the round robin portion.
That's the
GSC
one
was
that
pretty
matters.
good. Yep.
Absolutely. You guys like your rocks? Get them all paired up and ready to go?
We did. Yep. Comfortable with where we're playing. Sheet 4 tomorrow, and then if lucky enough to make the final, sheet 3. We like the rocks that we've paired, both colors, so we're in good shape.
That's the spot you want to be in.
Yep.
Of course, not having your opponent determined yet, you don't know for sure which rocks you're going to end up throwing. So in a spot where you have to match both sets, or at least have the level of confidence with both sets. A lot of times in those day off practices and events, you know who your opponent is, so you only have one set to deal with. So that can make it a little challenging. How much time do you guys end up having?
20 minutes out there. Just for the practice right now, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah,
not
20
bad.
minutes.
Not bad.
Yep.
Don't expect you to add up all your hours you've been out there all week.
Yep. 20 more minutes of practice.
Mm-hmm. And clearly with Team Larway being from the Granite Curling Club, some of you might think they know these rocks really well, but the way we do our rocks here in Granite is we have a competition side and kind of a day in, day out side. So Team Larway might have never thrown with the side of the rocks here. I know the only time I've really thrown it was at the pre-trials. That was here last fall.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we've ever thrown on that side, so didn't know what to expect. But ice has been fantastic this week, just awesome.
Yeah, looks like it. As David Stavatag looks up in the booth, our head ice maker, as he's getting ready to pebble the hacks on sheet 3, a standard fourth end break practice.
So Luke's going to take a look at one of the mics on one of the players downstairs. Try to get that working again. Sheet 3 is at its fourth end break, 2-2. And then sheet 5 is our other game this evening. Mike Farbelow's team versus Jeff Wright's team, although Jeff's not playing. And right now we got Wright ahead 3-1. Team Farbelow with the hammer. We got here 3 rocks left. Looks like they've got 2 in the rings thus far, so looking to score 3 here. They're in a decent spot here. Those 2 rocks, no double involved there. So decent chance to score 3 here. Get that figured out already?
I think so. Looking over at the receiver, I'm seeing some lines going.
Yep, quarter.
Yep, positive feedback. We're going to switch to
Easy.
Got to remember to unmute myself first before talking.
There you go. That's
You'd
it.
think I'd learn with all these Skype and Teams calls at work.
Oh, you know what? I called that wrong. I thought there were only 3 rocks left, and there were 4 rocks left. So that position's a lot different than what I just called. So sorry about that, folks.
Well, because
Gotten a
of the
lot
fact
of
that
practice
come
this week
over-
at counting rocks on the other
Well,
end
yeah,
of the
that's
ice.
true. I guess that's
We don't have a view of the home
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
so that means if they're thrown to the away end, I have to
Yeah, Russ
actually
makes a
try to
good
say,
point.
all right, let's count 6
We could've
rocks
tried to
instead of
roll
just the
over
2
here.
that are
This-
left.
This one was open, but still, let's see.
This one's a little easier. They're
Yep.
throwing this way, so no excuse for Doogie.
Yep, my bad.
Right.
Then I keep trying to look through the glass instead of on the screen. When it's right in front of him, it's a little easier. Doogie's sitting a little farther from the screen, though, so he gets an excuse card there.
That's it.
So here's Mike Farbelow playing a hit and stick with the last rock advantage in his first stone, though. So he'll be lying the 2. Long and it rolls to a great spot. There's not a whole lot that Team
Yeah, I
Wright's
think
going to be able to do
Yeah,
about
that
it.
way-
I'm not
Yeah, there's
sure
no
even
reason-
you
there's no
could
reason
throw
to-
it that
yeah.
hard to make that double.
No chance.
That looks pretty darn flat.
Those that know me know that I don't say it often, but there is no chance. They only, if
think
they
hit and
wanted to
stick
get
there and then,
cute with it, as
hopefully
some
he,
would say, they
you know,
could try
he's
to
like-
roll
yeah.
off the side stone on the other side under the center guard. Sorry,
Yeah, for sure.
corner guard.
Same.
It's a long ways
that was
from a
normal last
center
time, right?
guard,
That
but
was normal.
it's enough to get it buried and
All
make
right.
it challenging. But my guess
All right.
is that they don't know that side as well, and it's real close to the boards, barely hanging on.
Yep, if they're hitting this wide one here, looks like they are willing to concede the 2 here.
Which would be a result of tied with the hammer going into the second half of the game, which is exactly how they started. Just turns the game into a 4-end game, and playing 4 ends with the hammer is you have a better chance of winning than playing 8 with the hammer.
Yep. If they hit and stick here, both games will be tied at the break.
call,
So
I
Good
came
competitive
out, I came out a
games
little
here.
narrow and then I
So how much have hits thrown consecutively on a path been straightening out?
we have noticed that
That's all right.
probably for about 2 ends, got to
Okay.
take a little bit more ice, and then it starts coming down a little bit where you can start pinching it a little bit. Sweeping has been extremely important on hits. We have been able to hold rocks, so that's important. Especially, we have Darren when he's working the inside of that rock. Boy, we can really kind of tighten the broom up a little bit and have him hold it for us.
Yep, and being club mates with you, that's something I know you guys have been practicing a lot throughout the season. Glad that you feel it's paying off here. It can be a lot of fun to sweep on good sweeping ice and really have that level of control.
Yep.
Looks like Farblow was able to hit and stick. It was a little close. It rolled out a little, but they get there too. Tie game going into the break, as we mentioned, and now we'll switch back over to sheet 3.
It's really long. Okay.
And we finally got Tim's mic going here. I had to twist the antenna a little bit.
Oh,
not twist the antenna. It was just the collar that got a little loose on it. Sorry, Brian's probably listening to me. I don't want him to think I'm messing with his mic. Now, the collar just came a little loose.
Yeah.
Had to tie it down there, and now it's ready to go. So thank you very much, Tim, for me having to adjust it multiple times, once right before the game and once in the mid-break. This come around's looking a little heavy.
Okay.
So, Doogie, do you know which game you play the winner of?
We will be playing the winner of the LeClaire Ho game. They are technically the 4-5 game going on right now, and we were lucky enough to secure the top seed, so we will play the winner of this game.
So I assume now you're not going to even look over at sheet 5 anymore.
Oh, no, we're very interested in what's happening on sheet 5 as well. But, yeah, most of our concentration will be on sheet 3 and see how they play and doing that. But, we've played right so many times. It just seems like in events like this and the clubs, Richie's team, Far Below, played them a few times as well. So pretty familiar with all the remaining participants here.
Yeah, of course, played Benj a lot back when he was a member here in Seattle, and LeClaire is also one of those teams that's been pretty involved in the seniors and clubs, and also even to play down like the pre-events to nationals, the challenge round that we used to have. So kind of a group of teams that have played each other quite a fair amount over the last few years.
Yep.
Ends up pretty common in curling once you get to the higher levels at any, call it age group or country that you're in. You look at the Brier right now, a lot of those teams have played each other 50 times in the last few years.
Yeah, especially with the tour now and just all the stops they make, absolutely.
He was a bit generous. They played each other 50 times in the last decade or so.
I knew what you meant.
But it's cool when you see the battle of the Brads, and they're like 32 and 31 against each other in 15 years. And
yep.
Pretty remarkable. It changes the dynamic a little bit. A lot of times in curling, even if one team might be higher ranked on tour or consistently be a favorite or win more often, there'll be certain head-to-head matches that they drop that on paper you wouldn't expect. With it being such a tactical game, some teams, you might say, might have another one's number even though it doesn't necessarily make sense.
Yep.
Close.
Nope,
Yep.
that's true. Sometimes the style of play, sometimes that has an effect for sure.
Whoa.
And sometimes you'll get to an event like this, and when it gets down to the wire, there might be a favorite, but then the 4 seed might have the number of the favorite, but then the favorite can usually beats the 2 or the 3 seed more often than not. So
yeah, it really seems like with the 6 teams that are left, I think it really just comes down to who's going to play, best in the quarters, semis, and finals. Whatever team is on their game and playing the best, I think probably has the advantage.
I would think so. And over the years, that's what some have thought of as a slight drawback of having a bye in any sort of playoff round, is that it's one less game that you're playing on the ice. If there's any changes, you're less in touch with it. That's part of the reason that they have this practice is to make it less of a disadvantage for those teams that are sitting.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. If if we would have had our choice, we'd have been very happy to just go right into semis as soon as possible. But the format is what the format is. If you had your choice between having to play a quarterfinal game in order to stay sharp or just get your bye to the semi, pretty much everybody would say, we'll take the bye. We'll deal with it. We'll figure out the ice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you guys getting choice of
40?
hammer or color then?
We get choice of, to my knowledge, we get choice of color or practice.
You're not getting hammer.
I don't believe we get the hammer. I don't believe so, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
I think it ends up being like a pool play when you don't have that head-to-head game.
Right.
I remember in mixed doubles nationals in 2020 being a higher seed and not getting anything and being a little frustrated about it. So it's all coming back to me now.
Yep. The only team still playing that we have played so far is Jeff Wright
Maybe we're
over on
getting
5.
to
So I don't
straighten
know
you out a little bit.
if that has an
Yeah, I keep
effect if
talking
we
about it.
get to a level where
About
we're
this
playing
I think it
against
does.
them.
Actually, I think if you were to play them in the final, it would be right that you would have choice of hammer because you have the head-to-head better record, but I could be mistaken.
Yep.
If it makes sense, it's probably not how it works. That's what I'd say about like basketball or soccer. Curling, the rules are pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I made a mistake earlier today as far as whether there would be tiebreakers or not.
Oh,
Because thinking of the world thing, they really jumped down to
they don't like tiebreakers.
right. They just go to DSE and just start eliminating teams, and so I had assumed that the USCA was on the same program, but no. As long as you get to one level of tiebreaker games, then doesn't matter if you have the head-to-head. You're still playing a tiebreaker. So, hey, great.
Yeah, I think a big part of the reason a WCF is going to no tiebreakers is just that for TV rights and even for the host, the venue, and organizing committee, you want to be able to actually play when you say you're playing. And a lot of times that tiebreaker game's a Friday night draw prime for a quarterfinal matchup, and it's a tiebreaker game. We might not actually have curling. It's a tough sell to the local organizing committee, especially if they're not familiar with curling. They're just confused.
Are you saying this game's not on TV? Is that what you're saying?
It's on TV, just not
They
as
almost
often.
could have pushed it to the
I
right
am
spot.
saying that. We're making progress, but it's
Getting there.
slowly but surely. I think the big difference, though, with the USA Curling is that we actually care what representative wins this event and goes to Worlds. There is no Galaxy or Universal Championship,
you almost
so
could've
while the
pushed it past
WCF
the
wants
nose
to have a
there.
fair competition and generally have the better teams win, it doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah.
For when you're USA Curling or Curling Canada and you're putting an event together for your national championship and you're going to send the winner to a Worlds, you want your best team to go, and having a tiebreaker decide those ties instead of a DSC, which is only a fraction of what this game encompasses, makes sense.
Yep. It is amazing how important, how critical getting good DSC scores is. Even whatever levels, even spiels now. You go to a spiel, you've got to have a good DSC. You guys put a lot of focus on your DSCs?
We do. We don't get to practice together that often because I'm the odd duck living out here in Seattle and the rest of the boys are in the city. So it's not like we go and we practice our pregame competition 3 times a week. But it's something we care about a lot and we've been really good at this year, and it's helped us, no doubt about it. And not to mention just having hammer to start a game is really important too. But when we knew we were going to play at a world event, we prioritized it this year, and it made a difference.
Good. Yeah, I think Benj's team, Team Ho, that's playing on sheet 3 right now, they had the lowest DSC average for the week. I think it was 17.9 centimeters. That is fantastic.
It's really good. It's on the button.
Yeah, every time on the button.
Yeah, for the casual observer, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago they changed the way that DSC works, and they actually triangulate the stone if you're touching the pin. So just touching the pin isn't a 0. You have to be dead center on the pin, which is pretty much impossible. I've never seen a 0. I think I've known of one that someone has saw before. So it's actually, I should know this number. I think it's 18.9 centimeters. Might be what biting the pin is.
That sounds pretty close, yes. So we had one that was pretty much half on the pin. That ended up being a 7.9 or something like that. So I think you're about right.
Whoa! Here.
Usually average of about full 4 foot, in like the low mid 20s is a really good DSC score. And like you said, you get under 20 and you're pretty much on the button as your average. That's really good. Now, some are thrown out depending on how many games you play and how many shots you throw.
Yep. We had one because of the 5 games. We had one that was thrown out. Well, 5 games, but only 4 of those games counted for the DSC. So of those 8 shots, 1 was thrown out. So 7 out of 8.
Do you like having rocks thrown out as a principle?
Well, I didn't mind. The problem they ran into is you had 2 16 brackets and 1 5-team bracket.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really count all of the DSCs. So what they did is they made sure that there were, when you had 2 first practices and 2 second practices, that those were the 4 where you counted your DSCs. And then they just told everybody, which ended up being the starred games, that DSC is just for hammer itself in the game and would not count towards the totals, which, as long as you tell everybody that and stick to it, that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's really, so you just kind of had a random game?
Well, yeah, as it turned out, since you're in a 16 bracket, you got 5 games, you always have that odd game where it's starred and you have to, you flip for practice. That was the game that ended up being the one that you don't count your DSC for, so it was fair across all 3 pools.
Yeah, it is, and then, like you said, that way your extra game, because you get 2 for either 3 second practices or 3 first practices, that won't hurt you for the DSC at least. Still might lose you hammer that game.
Certainly, absolutely, but yeah, so it was nice. For having an uneven amount of teams in different brackets, I really think the formats that they came up with is probably as fair as you could possibly do it. 2 teams out of each bracket. That's 6 teams, so you only have 2 teams that get a bye. But you tell everybody at the front, we're going to figure out the first place teams in each flight and then count the DSCs against just those 3 teams to determine your seeds 1, 2, 3, and then do the same for the second place team. See, it's one of those things. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows how critical DSC is, so you want to just get all that stuff out of the way and not have complaints later about it.
Yep. Well, it's tricky to get it too far in advance because with the open field there's a process of, all right, now all the entries are in. Well, now we got to make a draw. Now we got to get the officials involved. So I don't think they had as much time to work through it and think about it as they would have liked to.
Right. Yep.
But it still worked good. I think they did everything they could to get everything laid out to the competitors as early as possible. And it all makes sense. I haven't heard any complaints across the field. I think everyone's happy that it is an open event and they have an opportunity to be here.
Really hard!
Big sweep coming.
Fuck.
And it's just short.
Yeah.
I think that was that Benj's last drawing against 1?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. We're so engrossed in our conversation about format, I forgot to look. Oh, that's right. We're supposed to talk about curling here, aren't we?
Well, we were talking about curling, just not these games.
We'll know in a minute. Bear with us, folks.
I don't think Team Host scored. I'll say that.
Well, they're throwing first stone, so they scored 1. I don't think they got that extra point. I think that was a draw for another extra point, and just came up a little short.
Sting's a little less then. Only getting 1 instead of 2 is a little better than giving up that steal and losing control of the game.
Agreed. Uh-oh.
We have a slate. Yeah, we can listen in here.
Do not want to kick you out of the game. Okay. All right? Got it. It's the sternest I can get with you. Okay. You understand? I understand. Okay, I'm being stern. Yeah, I got it.
Wow, we got a stern Joel, and the word getting kicked out of the game thrown around, so something's going on.
Yeah, I just warned him about something. Not sure what it was, but he said, don't put me in a position where I need to.
Guard.
I haven't seen anything. Don't think it's a hog line violation. I don't think it was a broom slam. I guess maybe it could have been, but you never know.
Can you do it for language?
Hope not. I've been kicked out of a few games by now. I don't think I'm that quiet about it either. So either the officials at my events haven't quite been following the rules, or you can, but I think it has to be like verbal abuse directed to an official.
All right, good throw.
Understood.
Really good.
Yeah, maybe we missed a broom slam in there. I don't know. Well, yeah, it'd have to be pretty bad to get to that point. So I don't think we'll get anywhere near there.
Of course, us as commentators, we have to speculate and add to the drama.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Reality is we heard very little, and it's probably something completely unrelated to what we've been talking about. I've been leaving sheet 5 hanging for a little while. Let's take a look at our 5-sheet layout again. We don't have an angle for just sheet 5. We got to go use this one. And that way, those of you that are tuned in and involved with the sheet 3 game, as we've been showing it a lot, can keep watching it while we go look at 5. I'll get Waters' mic going again. So here's Steve. Far below has split rings without the hammer. Yeah, I don't think that was last rock because this point. Yep, you're.
Just run straight.
Yeah, they're hoping to roll under the off-center guard and have a chance of maybe being able to score 2.
I think Wright has the hammer over there.
Yeah, I think so.
Right being red.
Right, red.
Red,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Right.
So there must be 2 rocks left. Right?
Yeah, I think Steve threw that one, right? Yep, so he's got, this is far below trying. Now, far below is going to try and hit and roll under this guard. If they make it really good, Wright's probably forced. They could try the run back, and they have a chance of force. You see that a little bit often with the younger crowd. Not that the seniors aren't capable of making it. They're just smart enough not to throw it.
They tried that shot so many times when they were juniors that now that they're seniors, they're like, no, we're not doing it. No, we'll draw.
So here it comes, this spot. It's kind of like, that's kind of why I asked you about the ice straightening out earlier, Doogies. It seems like a lot of these situations, even later in the game, on the wall side in particular, we just see a lot of them missed wide. And this is a huge opportunity now for a blank for Team Wright. I mean, far below could have hit that rock anywhere on the inside and rolled anywhere in the house except maybe an inch biting, because this Yellowstone has a piece of the rings. And at least, man, we would have got their force.
Yeah, nope. Yep, Team Wright saying thank
Mine's
you.
good.
We'll take that
Mine's good.
opportunity. Yeah. Anywhere on the outside, even knows. I think he's probably out of the rings here. So.
Go.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, a little easier. Other than it being out wide, and there might be some questions of what the ice does. Generally, there's the more surface area where you can hit the stone and make the shot.
Yeah, critical end too. 5th end too. Would be able to blank this, keep the hammer in the 6th. Potentially your 2 hammers to 1.
Nope.
This is a big, big opportunity here if he blanks here.
Really
This
going
goes
on
away,
it.
yeah. This goes here somewhere.
Yep, they get it.
Held it
That's
enough.
exactly what we talked about. If that stone was
Like that?
top 4 foot in the middle, that would be a force. So as Doogie mentioned, now gets to take hammer into the 6th and even end and have a chance to have hammer in 6 and 8, whereas Team Far Below now will only have hammer in the 7th end.
Looked like I was just watching sheet 3 there. Looked like we had the no tick rule come into play.
I think we hit.
Looked like we had a rock removed and replaced.
Well, if he does.
I think, how often was that happening earlier in the week when there was a ton of swing?
Didn't happen too often that I was aware of. Obviously, when you're out there playing, you're not looking around too much. Maybe 1 or 2 times is all I've seen.
You like the draw?
It's swinging so much. It's kind of counter to what you would think. You think because it's swinging so much, it's easier to swing into that center rock, but because it's swinging so much, you have to take so much ice to go around it. And what I mentioned earlier, it is very sweep sensitive. You can, even on those draws, you can hold it out there straight. So to get around a rock and, hide behind it, you got to miss the guard by a foot.
All right, line's getting good.
Yeah, that's a good point. You really should never even come close to the guard. And usually if it over curls by a mile, you can tell halfway down the sheet and get off it and start curling it and get completely by the guard in that case.
Sorry about that.
The no-tick rule is most challenging on super straight ice, where you feel like you have to paper the guard to have a chance at burying any of it.
We're getting that.
And yeah, I played a few games on straighter ice this season, and it's tough.
Yeah, really tough. Yep.
Some of those have been in our Super League, and when you don't have really good team communication and sweeping that you might have on a team you play with year-round, we don't get a whole lot of rocks fully buried if it's curling 2 feet or less.
Uh-oh.
Curl. No, it's 8. Go, Chris.
Yeah,
Chris.
I know. I mean, I brought this
Nothing
room
but
in
air
and
on
I
that
thought,
one, and
that's
now we're
gonna-
going to have
that's gonna
a
curl up.
opportunity for Tim Hall.
Way to go, Russ.
Yeah, he can really put some pressure on here. That was a tough one to flash there. Team Ho already with one top 4.
So what do we throw, 90? Okay.
Can throw another one in there and go right on top of it if he wants. You could space a little bit, but not quite sure on that angle how that red, yellow, how that would bounce into those center rocks.
95.
Yeah, to me it looks like, there's a triple of those 3 stones, but as you mentioned, that middle yellow is going to spin downwards towards this stone that Tim throws, assuming it's made good in the top 8, top 4 foot area. You'd have to throw a lot of weight to be able to move more than 3 rocks with that shot. So as long as this gets by the pile, even if it just wrecks a little, it's going to be a good spot. You wreck? You think Bob's going to try to peel these out here or try to get one underneath first?
That one curled the way it
I
was-
think he
that
would
one
like
curled
to
the way it was
have a
supposed to.
little bit more of that 4 foot accessible than what he's got right now. So
Do you think it matters that it's thirds rocks here? He's got Fred throwing it. It's earlier in the end, so you got more time. More important to just clear a path. You don't have to make any moves to them also. But you also have Fred Max, who I think is one of the better hitters in this event. So.
Yep.
It's the red.
Yeah. There's a lot of rocks up there, so I think at any point. But you're right. If it gets late enough, at some point you just have to get a rock in there. But yeah, I think. I wonder where he's going to hit this.
I think he was looking at crossing it a little bit. You might be able to just kind of get the top double and maybe lose the back one. And if you hit it, there's a lot of spots to hit it. I think that's what they called.
Oh, boy.
But it did not work out that well.
Cleared out 3 rocks, but boy, he got a little bit unlucky with where the one he threw ended up.
Because I think that's the spot to hit it to move the most rocks.
Right.
But just didn't move them far enough, and the way the angles worked out, they stopped in a line where it's very advantageous for Team Home.
And not only that, but he pushed it ended up pushing a yellow one right down to the center too. So a little bit unlucky. That was a great shot. Like you said, he got a lot of rocks out of there, but unfortunately, the ones that stuck around just are not in a very
I think so.
advantageous spot for him.
Really, it kind of played out as if Ho made the shot prior to that, and then they just made the 2 rocks go with the triple peel attempt.
Yep. Luckily, though he just has 1 guard to deal with now instead of what was it before, 4.
Yes. And it's his own guard. He can run it back. Granted, Tim's throwing up another guard here.
Take it back. Okay.
So really another chance for Fred here. And if Fred makes a good one, he'll have done a lot of damage with his pair.
Yeah, that would be, He will, Bob will say, thank you very much. Give him a little fist bump. Way to do your job.
Out of respect, I'm going to knock the table a little bit here. Don't want a commentator jinx Fred here.
Oh. Does that work? Does that actually work?
It does. You can
I don't
ask
know.
Tyler George.
not
He had
horrible.
a bit of a rough go of it the last couple weeks. Had to withdraw many comments made from good faith, but now here he goes. It's hanging a little bit. He gave it a good shove.
Not touching it.
Close. It was a hard shot, so I don't know if we can officially jinx one that difficult. But
All right, good. Thank you. I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight if I knew that was my fault.
Sean.
Team Ho, pretty good
Another
position
rock
here
for me to trip
again.
on.
Got
Okay.
one guard on the one side. Going to put a guard here on the other one.
so I think Fred, when they played that run that they did, the nice thing about it is if you make it and you stick it, your own rock is buried there. But the downside now is that those two rocks are still mostly guarded by that yellow. They didn't remove the guard that was guarding the majority of the surface area of those buried stones.
Yeah, makes this guard a little bit easier because now he doesn't have to get right on top of his two yellows. He's got a little bit of wiggle room on the outside where it'll still cover those.
Mike, go.
This looks like pretty good weight right here.
Come on.
It's a good spot.
Yep. Same spot as the one before almost, but it's yellow and not red.
Yep.
Good rock.
Looks like Bob's going to elect to try for the skip's deuce here.
Yeah, just needs one a little better than full forfeit, almost touching button. And if he makes it well, Team Ho is going to have a chance to kind of follow him down and anywhere on that path. And then
Going side forefront.
Bob will probably have to go the other side and make it again. But 2 perfect T-line draws here, and he'll probably score 2.
So.
Problem is, if he misses this one, there's a good chance he'll be able to steal a 3.
Yeah, same shot.
So critical shot coming up here for Bob Leclerc.
Curls in some places. Stay straight here. Some might stay straight out here.
But it's too bad these games are going at the same time. These are both great games. Action going on sheet 5 as well.
This is
Tied up.
Such a critical rock. I'll keep the sheet 3 stream open here for a little longer. It gets by. It's just a little heavy. It's losing its handle a lot.
Go, Benj. Go. Hard.
Asking Benj to bring this one back.
You know, one thing we have noticed with a lot of these teams that it seems like there's not a lot of teams throwing a lot of rotation on their rocks. Just, you know, you've been curling so long and club level and that kind of thing, you can kind of get away with that 2 rotation kind of deal, but then all of a sudden you get to a competition where they decide to make the ice swingy. You really have to kind of up your rotations.
This isn't
is what
horrible, right?
we've assumed. Well, I wouldn't say assumed.
I know, but I think
seems like
that's
it's played out that way.
You do.
just saying.
You do. And it's something that I've found is a challenge practicing is, you know, it's one thing to think, oh, well, I'll just practice throwing more rotation and saying it more. But if you do that in a league game where it's only curling 2 feet, I mean, you really can't
Line's right
make
on.
any shots. Not to mention when you play on a really swingy ice, usually, and they perform maintenance on the stones. I think that's the correct way of saying it these days, but they scratch the rocks. They become rougher, so that interaction between the rock and the pebble is different. And you have to actually apply more force with your rotation to get the same number of rotations that you would on the straighter ice.
Yep.
So you might be able to say, okay, our goal is to throw 4 rotations, and you practice that on straight ice, and then you go apply the same angular velocity with your release on a championship ice surface. So you might only get a rotation and a half.
Yep.
Probably 2.
Yep.
And you'll be scratching your head as your rock curls 12 feet across the center line.
Yep, you can. Yeah, we really made a kind of a point this year to, you know what, we're gonna throw those rotations anyway. Yeah, we play typically on pretty straight ice here.
Okay. All right.
But you know what, all our preparation this year was for this event, and we didn't know for sure, but we assumed that there would be some swing in the ice going into this event. You turn it over to the competition side. Typically, competition stones curl a little bit more.
That back here.
Since it's only a competition, they can do things to the ice to make it more swingy. That just sometimes at the club level, you just they're just not able.
Don't
to
have that
do
luxury of the time.
Correct. Right.
It takes so much time, so much volunteer effort.
But yeah, that's so far that's really been good for us, being able to throw those rotations and get consistent break out of the rocks. Looked like there was a steal there.
Yep, there was. And looking over at sheet 5. Got a shot coming down here. Rich Ruinen's last.
We think his
I think they were trying to get by the guard. Actually, important conversation here, Tim.
Normally.
1-1-2.
Yeah, but we think it did it before too on one of those shots.
Talking about a rock.
No, I think we'll just remember it, and so we know which one to throw. All right.
So a 7 rock. I'm not sure who's throwing the 7 rock. Doogie, I can see he's getting his notepad out right now.
I knew doing this up here I might be able to glean some knowledge here.
So Tim mentioned that they're not going to change anything. They're just going to know it. So my guess is that maybe the second is throwing that stone. It could be the lead second. The default mode is if you have a stone that's abnormal, that you give it the leads first, and then if you have multiple stones, you keep stacking them from the bottom up. So it sounds like they're not going to change where it is in the order. So I guess it's a seconds or a third stone.
All right, line's really good. Line's really good.
Could even be Benji's stone throwing fourth.
It could. I kind
Very
of had
likely.
a sense it was because on Benj's last, it did come over and crack into the guard there when he was trying to play that draw. Came up a little bit short of where he wanted. So, could be digging a little bit. Could be a cutter a little bit. Not exactly sure, but like you said, he said, let's not change it yet, but let's be aware that that's a possibility.
Yeah, more ice. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, you get late in the game, and it's at a point where, well, we get rid of it, but now that player has to adjust to a different stone.
Yep.
Arguably, you could say they have to adjust less. Our team's personal philosophy is to always get rid of it if there's any doubt at all.
As soon as you find it, whenever you find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there's also some players have more comfort throwing with an abnormal stone than others. I think there's been a few times where
I don't love that.
myself as a third has thrown like a bit of a weird set that a lot of teams wouldn't, but that's kind of definitely like a player tailored decision. And it kind of depends on the makeup of your team. Some skips like Kevin Cooey or Brad Gushu sometimes like to throw a cutter because there's shots they can make that you can't with other stones.
Yeah, the biggest thing on that is just, if the shooter's comfortable with it.
What a shot
that was
from
great.
Mike
Fantastic.
Farbelow.
Sheet 5.
Still got a curl.
Double run, double, maybe a triple
go.
run.
Whoa. Yeah.
The crowd goes
Bench.
wild.
Come on.
Let's see. What are they? Out of that. So now they're sitting
Come on.
Yeah.
2 without hammer.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is
Okay.
Steve Waters,
It's all right.
Team Wright's first stone.
Yep.
7th stone of the end, first skip stone.
Say that.
That was a big shot there.
Huge shot.
Yeah, I agree. I think we want to just get a piece and go right here. Okay. Control, you think? Or do we have to throw normal? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think it's right.
Yep, I can confirm it was only a double run double and not a triple run double. I've got my phone playing the stream 30 seconds behind, so I have the delayed replay.
Well
here.
done.
I can actually put it in the middle between us, so
I
we
like
get our
that.
little delayed.
Well done.
Got to have it running so I can check
Okay,
in
yeah,
on the
that's fine.
audio every once in a
I
while.
wanna see what we- Yep. Just. Yeah, we're on that.
That's right. We don't even have a ability to see anybody
Try to hit center.
texting in or anything
Actually,
saying.
do you?
Oh,
I don't
you do?
think we've been. Oh, here we go. We got a few.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to back up here and read some questions, perhaps.
And he's wondering why we're only seeing sheet 3. Most of the feedback I've heard throughout the week is that most people prefer a single sheet view if possible. Granted, I know there's a lot of fans out there for both games, so I've been trying to go back and forth a little bit, but when, I don't have a better way of saying this, at more uninteresting times in the game on sheet 5, I've been trying to do sheet 3 only. But here we're definitely showing sheet 5 now because this is probably the most interesting sequence of shots we've had all week here.
Yep. I saw on there too what happened with the official. We're not exactly sure, so hate to speculate. Certainly there was, a pre-warning given, but we don't know
Top
what
12.
for, so we'll just kind of leave it at that for now.
Yep. If everything goes according to plan, we'll never know.
That's right. That's it.
As it should be.
Maybe get Benj a
Well,
couple
if you
beers
can.
later. Maybe he'll
True.
let us know.
Close.
But for those of you on the stream, I'm sorry.
Close.
Your only chance
Close.
is significant controversy.
Close. Yep. Come on. Go.
Oh, what can Luke bench press from Katie Santiago?
Oh, that was, yes, it's a bit of an inside joke from earlier. I guess that was from Best in Show. I guess that was, I never saw the movie, so I don't know, but apparently they asked at one point, turns to the other person and says, so what do you think I can bench press? So Katie worked that in very seamlessly earlier today. That was outstanding. I didn't know it actually, was about anything else, so that's funny. What else we got?
That's it. Pro commentary move there. Not sure if that was actually acknowledging the question.
Let's see where he puts it.
I'll just assume it's everything. Thank you, Katie.
It's kind of hanging there.
I also didn't really answer your question. I don't. I've got some shoulder issues, so I actually avoid the barbell bench press.
There we
most of
go.
the time, so I get my cop out. I think that's really good. Over on sheet 5.
Yeah.
They're sitting 3 in those 2 yellows, and the
Gotta
one that just
curl.
came to
Gotta
rest.
curl.
They're frozen and such that they angle right on that red. So there's a lot of risk for Team Right to make a
Line's
play
getting
on
good.
those.
Yep.
Right
Come on.
now,
Come on.
yellow
Come
line.
on. Hard.
Boy, are they
Hard. Keep it
line
working.
3
Come on.
over
I think
there?
so.
Oh, my
Hard.
goodness.
Go. Go.
I think that's probably about here, eh? Yeah.
Far below in a great position
Right.
right now over on
Yep.
sheet 5. We got 1 rock remaining here in the 6th.
I think you're right.
Yep, I'm isolating Steve's mic here. I didn't realize I knocked down the volume on it earlier. I was wondering why I wasn't hearing anything.
Oh. Looks like he electing to try to play that double. Looks like just cut team
Yep.
far below down to potentially a steal of 1 here.
The way it's lined up, it looks like unless it doesn't drag it down too much, it's going to hit the red in such a way that it spins up and out, that second yellow.
Down weight
This
here,
is-
though,
yeah.
so I don't think this is a double. I think he's trying to come in off
It's a
something
tap?
here.
Could just be the nose tap on the rock on the right-hand side of the center. Looks a little heavy. It is a tap attempt.
Oh.
Nailed it, I think.
What a great shot that was. Oh, my gosh. Was that some pressure shooting right there?
Shooters
All of a
came
sudden,
out in the
Wow.
6th end.
Yeah.
Fist bump.
Fist bump, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the sheet, so you guys couldn't see it, but a
Sean,
fist
great
bump
call.
between Steve Waters and Mike Farbelow. Great execution on the last handful of shots. The skips are
All right,
both
so-
shooting really well.
So just center
Teams
line.
are sweeping and calling their shots really well.
Yeah. You got
That
it.
was a heck of a shot
We
right
got
Yeah, it
there.
was.
another one or
Yeah, great sequence. And we got at least 2 more ends of it.
And it's great. Got some rocks in play here on sheet 3.
Well, you forced me to with that.
So
run.
my
That was a
apologies,
hell of a
Annie. I'm
run
going to
back.
bring up the sheet 3 only.
Oh,
Look
is
again.
that Annie asking
Yeah.
that? Oh, man.
I'll make sure for
think-
Sean's rocks that we're back on
Oh,
all
boy,
5.
I might leave that. I think I'd be tempted to leave the whole thing up there. Annie, just so you know, this is not my idea. Going to sheet 3. It's not my deal.
Yep. Room. Curl.
Over
curl.
on sheet 3.
Back to the
We've
center,
got
guys.
few
Go,
rocks
go,
in the
go, get back
house
to the
here, but
center.
not a ton of guards. I have to reorient
good.
myself. We're looking at sheet 5 for so long.
You know, Annie,
Good.
I think they're at a
Great shot,
house
Russ.
that's like 3 blocks away. If she comes down here, you're not going to like it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Doogie's about to have a new commentary partner in 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were a little higher than that.
So Ho is what, up 2 without? Yeah, they're able to get that steal. And they've got control, or at least the opportunity to take control of the middle of the sheet here. Good guard. Benj's broom is top 8 though, so I don't know if they called it there, if it just ended up slipping a little bit heavier than they initially called.
Completely different.
And I'll just keep you apprised in the background here. Center guard that's touching the center line for right. And then the lead for Team Far Below has come around that guard, top 4.
That rock also with that turn.
Team Ho still talking about rocks. You hope at this stage in the tournament that you're not having that many conversations about rocks. You want to feel comfortable with what you're throwing. I think that's a pretty good shot from Fred. Fred's degree of difficulty has been quite high as long as we've been watching, but he's been making some good ones, throwing them good. The ones he's missing, he's real close. And that was a really nice hit and roll there. This is a short run for Benj, but it's still a run.
Normal.
Yep. Skip Stones here.
Tim clarifying, they're just going to throw normal weight. As long as you have confidence in the ice, the throwing less weight at a run like this increases the chance that you stick it and get some aggressive value, if you will, out of the stone. You can just make contact, roll it out, and it's still a good shot. You removed a red, but if you throw that normal weight and stick it, you just took advantage of an opportunity to sit really well under a guard of your own.
Yep.
Looks like Benj steered that one a little bit. They're going to have to sweep this. Oh, maybe not. There's the wall call.
Mike.
Trying to carve it now.
Whoa.
Just on a little too much early. Oh, yeah. Nah, clearly my trigger finger's a little delayed.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
I've got some work to do there.
Yeah. Sorry, kids.
As I always say, part of the entertainment value.
There we go.
That's probably why I'm not a VP at a broadcasting company. I don't think my ratings would be very good amongst
you're all good.
The middle-aged out there, the parents. I think my ratings would be pretty high amongst teens and the elderly, though.
Boy, what do we got here? 3 more rocks left in this end. Is that right?
That's what it looks like. And, yeah, sneaky opportunity. Did you get a glimpse of what Bob's going for here?
No, I did not. I'm assuming he's coming down to that back yellow, little hit and roll, maybe? Seems like that front one might be more problematic than the back one, but... Just give me a little tap back, perhaps?
Yeah, I think freeze tap. Well, I guess I don't know if he needed to tap it to be sitting 2. I think so, but good to not. Oh, I guess they're only sitting 2 now, and if they picked it a little harder, they would be sitting 3, right?
Yeah, I can't tell from here. Can you see it on the screen there?
Yeah, I think I have some confidence that it's just red lying 2.
Just the 2?
If they had thrown that a foot heavier, they'd be lying 3.
Double opportunity if you could throw it.
Hard.
Somewhat hard.
I think 7-5 is probably enough to get this one done.
7-5. Well, that's not going to happen. So what other option we got? Oh, it's Benj. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Benj has 7.
He could throw 7-5.
Yeah. I think 8. That's close. He's throwing the in turn though, so he's going to lose a little bit of weight coming across the face.
he does hit it right, I guess he doesn't have to completely remove it. Just needs to get into the 12-foot.
Yep, he's mostly in the 12-foot.
Yeah. Yep.
They overswept this one early on the same line, similar throw, but
You're ready on the dump button.
Come on.
yeah, good point.
Come on.
One and dump button.
Just hit that a little bit thin. Did it run in? Oh, it ran into their back yellow, too.
Yeah, it did.
didn't
So now they're lying
Oh.
two. Yeah, that's
Draw
a
for 3.
real tough break.
And then, meanwhile, over on sheet 5, there are barely any rocks in play anymore.
Oh, yeah, we'll pull it up.
Some peeling going on. We got one corner, wide corner guard.
And I believe this is Sean's first. I think I timed this perfectly.
Nice work. Well done.
Yeah.
That's long there, don't we?
Yep, I think I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh. Oh, you're oh, boy.
Yep.
Got some
Better-
splaining to
Yep,
do.
enjoy my time here while I have
yes, yes.
it. If I'm not on the mic tomorrow morning, you know why. You know where to find me.
All right. So draw for 3 on sheet 3. They are not touching this.
I think they're going to end up having to use the backing here.
Yep, which works.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
Big 3.
Yep. Expert throw there. Save the sweepers. Minimal effort
There
and
we go.
maximum results.
That's it.
So over on sheet 5, it is a pretty wide open end. Who's
Well,
that?
It is
gonna,
now.
Who's going to benefit more here?
You know, that's that's the age-old question now, isn't it?
Yep. All the way down, guys.
I got him. I knew he's
All the
in.
way down.
Doogie's still in sheet 3 mode. He's
Bro.
over there counting rocks.
15,
I am
15.
absolutely
All the
am.
way down, guys. T-line.
So I think what we got. Farbs
All right,
is
it's
one
close enough.
down with the
Yep.
hammer.
Good scrubs.
7th end, second to last end. So if he blanks, he's down one with coming home, which give or take, these are pretty generic stats, but
that?
is give or take a 40% win rate.
I know. I'm sorry.
One up with
40% win rate if you're one down with.
yep, and then
Wow.
60 if you're one up without. But that's very generic. That's pretty
Wow.
much just looking at all tour games played. I definitely like to think of
Interesting.
analytics more on an event-to-event basis.
I would have thought that would have been the other way, 60-40 the other way.
It depends. Again, it depends on the level of play. I think. That's kind of an age old that you'd want to end with the game with the hammer, and there's a certain feeling that comes with having that control. But having that lead does tend. All you got to do is force, and if you happen to steal, you get the win there, right? So you got to give
All
up
right.
2 or more. It's more or less, playing for a steal with insurance, and if you can get a steal 25-30% of the time, then there's that whole rest of it.
Got to
So.
put that in there, yep. Wow. 2 games coming down to the wire here, folks.
And, of course, what I always like to do is look at the scoreboard in any certain game. If you've been trading deuces all game, you're probably better off being one down with. And if it's just been trading singles and steals and maybe one up without, this scoreboard's relatively balanced. We've got a little bit of everything, except I don't think there have been any steals. Yeah.
Decisions.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So we'll just
No,
say
no.
it's exactly
So that's a good
50-50
call.
Okay.
for the entertainment value.
There you go. I like
if
that.
Team
There you go.
Farblow is able to continue
Yep,
to
I
trade
think we're
hits and earn themselves a blank.
Is this his last or is this his first? I wasn't.
I don't think it's his last. So that
Nope.
would make it his first.
Yep. Oh, nice. There you go. Process of elimination. Plus, he's not throwing it hard enough to hit and roll out here, so I think you're right.
Now,
If
of
it's his
course,
first.
if he only takes one, if he noses the blank out, or rolls this out.
draw down here?
Yeah, that's that same
Yeah.
path 2 ends ago.
Yep.
I think it's
You're
like
absolutely right.
there.
Wall side, sheet 5. Don't know
Yeah.
if that has a little effect on that or not.
In league play recently, it has.
Just draw down.
You're right.
Behind,
You're
draw
absolutely right.
Drive behind the corner. Yeah.
And that's one thing where they really change a lot to the ice in preparation for this event. But certain properties of a building, like slants in particular, you can make them go away for a little while, but they usually creep on back right about now in an event.
This is a big shot right here, too.
So what are they trying to do here,
What's the
Dougie?
stats if you're tied up with?
So that changes substantially. So I guess we'll think about this from far below's perspective. If they're tied without, they are forced here. It's about a 75-25.
Easy,
Okay.
easy.
Or
Lots
an
of room, lots of
80-20. It's
room.
been changing. I would like to say the numbers aren't quite in for the no-tick rule. You would think on principle that would make it a little bit easier if you were tied without.
Don't need to bury all of it, but you want to bury some of it.
It's a little deep. They're not too happy. And I mean, as long as far below can see a good chunk of this, they're going to want to chase it and try to get that blank.
Yeah, way too
Steel's
much.
not good
I-
either,
I-
though.
I thought, yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
say that it's a 75-25.
Yeah.
It's a tie game. And then if this is a steal, I'd say it's about an 80-20. So not a too much different
Got
than tied.
He must see a pretty good chunk of it because they didn't talk about it
yeah.
very long. Put the broom down, skated away. So
Yeah,
I see what, at least half, you think?
that would be my guess. Steve didn't sound too happy about it. Hard early. Got to get by the guard. Oh,
Sweeping now.
there it is.
Yep.
Gets the blank. 50-50.
50-50. Here we go. Coin flip.
Yeah.
Coming down to the 8th.
So, but.
All right, anyone in the chat, do we have some predictions on sheet
So we'll
5?
try to get 'em in, and
Right,
then
far
if,
away. Hey, predictions on sheet 3 too.
If
Because sheet 3 is also one down with,
yep,
up one without. We got the
yeah.
Katie, so much curling focus commentary this evening. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
fun
just get
this
behind
morning.
the-
Yep.
good. We got
We
plenty.
did get a little bit of curling commentary in amongst, all the other things that we were talking about, but very entertaining. That was fun this afternoon, or I guess it was this morning.
And Katie beat me to the answer. RB challenged. Yes, these games are being timed, but we cannot have no way of seeing the time clock from here unless the players drop a hint on a mic as to how much time they have left, or all of a sudden they start panicking. We really don't have any idea.
Two games coming down to the wire. Team Ho with the hammer, but
Good line.
after giving up the 3 in the 7th, now they are one down with.
Good line.
So we've got our first predictions from your teammate Darren.
Easy.
Right
Oh.
by 1 in an extra end.
Oh,
Nope, never.
I think that's a sound prediction.
don't tell Ann that, Darren.
Good shot, Russ.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
You're doing
no,
it. Yeah, that's the right team.
I
Yeah,
think
good call.
I
Good
think
call,
that
Darren.
was, yeah,
Good call.
tactical response.
Yeah, it was very tactical, yes.
He did not take one from my book.
So we're gonna have to talk about both these games because both of these games are coming down to the wire and they're both about in the same spot here, aren't they?
We'll be keeping it on the 5-sheet view for now. Once again, we don't have an opportunity to look at just sheet 5. So if somehow sheet 5 ends before sheet 3, or let's just say 5 doesn't go to an extra and sheet 3 does, then we'll move back over there. I can change my mind still too. I reserve that right.
There you go. Yeah, you could take your life in your own hands. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I think that ship has sailed.
All solved with a right victory. You'll be forgiven.
Suppose it's time to start paying attention to the games.
Yeah,
That's fine. Guard's fine.
Curling action. Good thinking.
Yeah, play guard.
Actually, they're looking pretty similar. I will say that Ho's corner guard's looking a little bit better
Sean,
than
if
Farbelow's.
it's anything, it's
But other
Sean.
than that, similar setup. You see it a lot.
Extremely
back to the
similar.
center.
Both trying to draw in.
It's almost
center guard.
almost
All the way
like the
down. All the way
situations are
down.
the same.
All the way
But
down.
now they're
Weird.
I know we've got a little difference here. I'm
Yep.
not sure if
They didn't get the memo.
Team right came up light, or if they called another
I
center.
mean, just barely, Mike, but
Checking on sheet 5 if it's on
Should
the
we-
center
do you want
line to decide.
Oh, here we
it's
go.
So close. They're bringing in the official.
Where are we going to get here?
Uh-oh. And here
I
comes
know it's real
Richie.
close.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. They're getting the lawyers involved now.
Richie can tell from down
Look
there.
out.
It's
Just need a ruling on
definitely
the
not
center
on the
Don't
center
get the
line.
lawyers involved here. Oh, boy. Who you got on a mic over there, Luke? Turn it
I've
up.
got Steve. It's turned up.
Wow, I didn't know
I'll
the
kick it a
T-square
little
was
more.
used for the center. Is this
Here's Joel.
okay?
I think there was
Good call.
air and not on the center line. So will a tick be played? Probably not. Usually when they take this long to figure it out, it doesn't
What-
change their
what
call.
was it? It does not. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I think it's a no. It's an off the center
Basically,
line.
what it means, if for some reason he comes up tight or something like that and it runs into it, then they don't have a problem afterwards.
Exactly. All jokes aside, you should clarify before you throw.
Absolutely.
If it happens in a game. You never know. Once the stone is delivered, it is too late.
Then is it an assumption that it is not on the line then, if you don't have clarification?
More or less non-offending Skip's opinion. It kind of like reverses in a sense, where it's you kind of have plausible deniability. I think if you're the team whose rock might have been on the center line, you can say it was on the center line. What are you talking about? And if there's a disagreement,
Really? That's interesting.
I mean, you could bring an official out there, but I mean, it's unless it was
You
just
like that boy in the
way
draw?
off and it's obvious to everyone.
Oh, you want to run it?
But even then, technically,
What's that?
if both skips can't agree it was on or off, then
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
It's team right now deciding whether to draw to it
think
or
so,
try to
yeah.
make a little run at it. They've chosen to make a run at it, try to remove it.
Run, Sean.
40.
Fabs 224
Trying to
sounds
carve it.
similar to Farb. Says Farblow takes it.
Good scrubs. Good scrubs. Way to go.
Good scrubs.
Nicely done.
Now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, I'm still waiting on my thank you, by the way.
Thank you for actually showing both games. Is that what that's what
Something
you're
like
asking
that.
for?
Yep.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I need it. All right, we've got a utilized corner guard for the most part here from Team Ho. I think they're, I don't know, 3/4 buried behind it.
That was a great hit and roll there. They removed the center guard and rolled into that position around the corner. It was a great shot. Really good shot.
Yeah, they've been able to clean up the middle and kind of establish some separation in the stones that are in play. The only downside is that there are only 3 stones in play.
Same weight.
So if somehow they all disappear,
True. Very true.
Or do you want it?
then all of a sudden they're going to run out of tools to use to score 2. But you really only
much
ever
can you
need
see?
one corner guard
How much
to
can
score
you-
2 around.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's the discussion
Aaron.
they're having. So probably one of those. We'll go after
Sean.
it. If you're tight, peel the guard.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
okay too.
I got it. You're very welcome, Annie. Anytime.
Sean.
Wow. Nice work. Nice work.
There you go. Good shot, Chris.
Another one, Team Farblow tried to come around those 2 center guards. Didn't quite get it fully buried. Team Right was able to peel that rock out of there. Back to sheet 3. It's close.
Just
Ooh,
by.
just
Makes it- We'll stick
by.
around too. I think so. Yeah, great
Yes,
shot
well.
from Fred.
That was well done.
Again, another shot, high degree of difficulty, and no mistake.
Plus, it may have rolled into a position where it's tough to get around that corner and still be shot. That was well done.
The only
Yeah, I
downside
think so. Yeah.
is that Tim can make a really good hit and roll on top here, and if he's still shot, The only way to get rid of it will be to blast it. It'll
Don't
take
do it.
both those 2 stones out of play, and then there'll just be an open corner guard to come around for Team Ho, which, like we said before, that's all you need to score 2.
Big thing here is sticking around. Gotta stick around. Gotta be shot too, right?
Yeah, likewise, you could overcurl, roll to the middle, and then just get a roll out on the subsequent hit, and you're effectively in the same situation. But none of those good things happen if you roll out.
Whoa, all by itself. All by itself. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Looks like Team Farbolo was successful in
It's
getting
not
a
short.
rock around now. So Team Right just trying to come down to
Right,
it. It's a little bit heavy though.
Critical shot coming for Rich Ruin in here. If he's able to get a second one buried, effectively
You could throw it a little harder?
eliminating any route to the
Yeah,
screw,
just keep the line.
Team Farbolo is going to be in a really good position.
I was nervous it was going to run dead straight, if I overthrew it. So I didn't want to really kill it there.
Back on sheet 3 here as well. Skip stones.
Yeah, I think that was Tim Ho. I got both mics running, so I'm be a little confused.
Oh,
I think
boy.
that was Tim saying that they just want to be patient on that hit and roll attempt. Didn't want to kill it early and lose it because rolling out was so bad. Like he said, even that position, it's still helpful. And yeah, like I said, here's the rollout, and now they can be shot under the corner.
I think I touched it.
Yeah, just a
More
hair.
controversy on sheet
Just
3.
I wouldn't necessarily call it controversy. Move it a quarter inch and you got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I gotta boost the rating, so we're gonna call it
That's
controversy.
it. Yeah.
No.
It's tap
But,
gate, kick
I
gate.
know
Yep.
where we
What
threw
do you
that.
call it?
We can call it tick gate.
Tick gate.
Normal.
Well, I know there was the significant one between Schuster and Morizumi in maybe the 2015 Worlds, where one bounced off. I don't know if that shot got a nickname or not, but yeah, similar situation. Yeah, ticked one, or what it was about a rock kind of coming off the boards, and no one really knew what happened, and it was fairly controversial for a little while.
Little roll here, little roll inside if you can. Nope. All right. Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
So Richie must not have been able to get
Tons of
that
room.
last rock in there because
Tons of room still. Where is it?
That's okay.
Sean came down and hit that rock, and now he's got a red one in a position that could be raised later if they needed.
And this come around from Ben's just doesn't curl enough.
That's all right. You got.
Yeah, I mean, that was Skip's first. That was really his opportunity to score too, right there. Yeah, this is going to be pretty much a wide open hit for Bob Leclaire. I think maybe it's edge on edge with the guard. Does not need to stick around. Now he wants to. Where's the best spot for him to place this? Do you think?
Well, don't
Yeah,
you know?
probably, yeah,
I think he
edge
wants to
forward.
get it off of that
Let's,
spot. He doesn't. I don't think he wants to nose this because Ben's just basically through
Yeah,
that
right.
guard
Yeah,
or
that
that
shot's
draw
right
there.
No.
Yep.
He'd like to hit and roll a little bit to the outside, I would think, and just kind of put it in Benj's head. All right, are we hitting one? Or are we just going to draw? I'm guessing Benj is just going to draw.
I mean, the way I always like to think about it is you want to put it in the spot right between the two shot options being of equal difficulty.
Yep.
Right. So,
Yeah, we
Which
don't wanna-
it didn't do.
no. Well,
So Benj is going to say, well, hey,
Oh, you just threw?
we just threw that same draw.
they're thinking about it.
Yep.
I know. I mean, this is where I just had you. I mean, we should be here to be full 4, no backing.
So
Thank you very much to
Basically-
the Rugans for bringing our second round of
yes,
refreshments.
Yeah. Thank you for the root beer.
Tap
Appreciate it.
down close enough to do a tap tap.
What is it? What was Tyler's? What, Diet Coke Zero or something? I think it's Pepsi. My bad. I might get in trouble for that one.
It's all right.
Yeah, I think so. We've got time. We got 3 minutes to throw 2.
Just
So-
wants to throw. Doesn't want to throw any more weight. Throw that same weight you did. Make the draw.
I'm not sure if you saw that, but I think they just changed from drawing to the red to drawing to the middle.
Okay.
I think I just saw Tim give 2 more feet of ice. Usually not ideal to change the shot that late. But anyways,
Oh,
here's Benj Guzman and Team Ho.
They are not touching this.
Yeah, I can get there.
This is a shot against the loss.
So it's got to be.
Touching the
gotta be
4
back
foot to
circle,
go to
right?
an extra end. It's starting to curl a lot more.
Or no, or just actually just tee. Right? Yeah.
And that just slides too deep.
Skates through.
So this is running a little.
Not the
straighter, so
way,
I think it's
not the
gonna
finish
try
you
it.
wanted, but unless you're Team Leclerc fan,
Yeah, let's do
I'm,
that.
I'm
This
trying.
is
I'm
probably
looking
more
at the
important than
scoreboard
other.
here, and other than I don't think Leclerc has led the game since the
This is-
first end
This is
until
more
the
important
7th,
than the other shot.
of course.
Yeah, I don't know.
So a long
I think it's a
stretch
tap.
in the middle there of
Same.
trailing, and then a really good result in the
No, no,
7th end,
it
and
runs
they
a
hold
little
them
straighter. We're
off,
talking about
get
this.
the steal of 1 and 8, and here they are, a 6-4 final score. Team Leclerc is moving on to play against Doogie here in Team Larway at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning in the semifinal.
Should be a great game. Looking forward to it.
Just pick them.
Me as well.
Meanwhile, on sheet 5, timeout was taken by Team Wright. We have, 4 rocks left. They're trying to decide. Yellow's got one in there pretty good. Where do we want to put this? Do we want
no.
to tap
I feel like
now? Do we
the-
want to just come around it?
Mhm.
What do you think, Luke?
You know, we haven't.
Tap's kind of
Yeah,
tough
I think-
because you
no,
almost
I agree.
have
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
the tap, because if you tap it
gotta
anywhere
play
but
tap.
on the
Yep.
nose, you're actually opening it
No, no.
up to get a
No, too much. I like,
second
I like,
yellow
I like
rock
this.
in
I
there.
like this.
That's what I'm feeling too. And on a
This is
swingier
fun.
ice, taps are a little bit more challenging of shots. That rock for you right
Yeah,
now,
but again,
it's a tool
we
in
would've
that it's
taken care of that
taking, it's
rock
controlling the intern side.
because
It's giving you an out
He throws that
and
shot, we're
making
gonna
it
throw
something
that
in the way of Team Farblow.
I think it's
See
a
it-
little less,
so,
actually.
well, yeah, you can use it now as a tap, but you usually want to wait to
No, no, no.
use up
Just
those
tee, just
tools as late as you can.
that
I think
run
you'd
back.
go around it then with the intern,
Yeah,
just try to
intern
close off
around.
that 4 foot a little bit.
Yep, I think they're calling the tap, but I would tend to just go around. I mean, the downside of going around is that you're probably only going to get it just full 4. It's probably possible to throw the out turn wide and still get shot around it like Team Farblow.
Yep.
As a way to score 2.
Yep.
The tap's the only way to get one right on that yellow to where there's no way to draw in for a second counter.
Yep. Line's
But
good.
as we mentioned, you still have time.
Made a critical tap 2 ends ago.
That he did. Got a curl. Don't want to open it up, as we said, and it doesn't get there. It opens it up. I mean, they shrunk the rings a little bit. Now Farblow needs to get a little better than full 8 to secure their second point.
Didn't need it for weight. I know. Yeah. We got possibilities here. I know, but I think we had to throw that. I think we had to throw that.
Big shot here. If he can get a second one in there, frozen right on the top of his own, Team Wright's going to have a tough time getting one of those out of there, much less 2.
Thank you very much. Tough one.
That's that line. Look at that line. It's T. Right here, right? You know,
Just slid
is
a
that-
little
maybe-
bit deep.
Yeah, like just a touch.
Slid to that back 4. Gave Team Wright here a chance. If they can come down and corner freeze that yellow, going to be tough for Team Farblow to get that second pointer.
Okay, guys, let's bury one in here.
Yeah,
Let's
really,
get
that
it
was a
in.
critical shot for Farblow. If they make that well, there's not much Team Wright can do about it. I mean, they have a few
5, you
options.
think?
Maybe I can in off of that sort of
Yeah, you're right,
slash,
exactly.
or maybe just kind of draw to barely outcount one and hope. But I'd say really good position for Farblow if that was made, but it wasn't. So now the door opens. I think Team Right's just going to try and freeze on that top yellow here. So here's Steve Waters with possibly his last of the game.
Go, 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 go.
That part's unlikely, though.
Go, 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 go.
Just got to sit a little bit. Bounced a little.
Thanks.
I think it's decent.
Yeah, boy, they were on it early. They thought it was short early, and then about 2/3 of the way down, all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's all there. So came off it late. Boy, I can't tell how much that's bounced out.
It looks like yellow's shot to me. So they could maybe throw that same draw, cut it really close to the guard and get a piece of the button. But the danger is if they're heavy or wide at all, they could bump the red in the shot.
Yeah, and they're really not indicating anything that's going to get to red directly. They were talking the first one of actually kind of pinballing off of those 2 corner ones. So it must be pretty buried in there.
It's a tough balance because if you feel like you're shot one now, like you don't want to play something where you feel like you can risk, giving up one here and losing the game now. But if you score only one, by the basic numbers, you only have a 20-25% chance of winning in an extra anyways. So it could be argued that it's worth taking some substantial risk now if you think you have a decent opportunity. A shot that you can make about 3-4 out of 10 times arguably is worth throwing right now.
High-level analytics right there. High-level analytics. That's so great about curling too. I mean, it is a game of choices. As much as you have the why and the what's and what you're supposed to do in this position and things like that, you still have choices.
Yep, and there's a few more tools that we have to make those choices these days, but at the end of the day, it is a judgment call, and it's a synthesis of kind of all the information that you have at your disposal, and you end up making a decision, and sticking with the consequences.
So
Here's
here
Mike
it comes.
Farlow.
Something's coming in with weight here.
I think it's a double run back. Ooh. Really close to the disaster of giving up one. It spins out. It's the same result as it was before he threw.
Wow,
it's
heart attack.
One for Farblow. We get the extra curling we all wanted.
Heart attack shot right there. My goodness.
Yep, I think it went about 3 different ways as it was going down the sheet.
Yeah, what do you like? Do you want to go?
Murmur through the crowd, but yeah, here we are. Team Right with hammer in the extra end.
Yeah.
Really well thrown shot. I mean, that was so close to perfect.
It sure was.
Yeah.
And that's one of those shots we're talking, a 16th of a rock, or maybe even less than that margin for error.
Yep. I dare you to switch it to just sheet 3 feed now.
I can give it a whirl here. There it is. Sheet 3.
Here's what an empty sheet of ice looks like. Everyone.
Looking as good as ever.
Thanks, man. That line is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you could hear an exchange between Steve and Farbs there about that last line. So my guess is that, from the sweep call, I got the sense too that Farblow felt that they had it the whole way, and then it just kind of jumped a little differently at the end. I didn't quite get it.
All right, bonus curling. I gotta get home soon here at 9:15. This is like an hour and a half past my bedtime.
Yeah, you're right. You got a big game tomorrow morning.
Here, come on. My bus is leaving soon.
I will say it is also past my bedtime.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Want to do this?
I'm on the senior schedule.
All right.
This whole week has been past my bedtime.
So we got a
really living wild.
Center line guard that is on the center line, so no tick rule is in effect. So that one cannot be moved over.
Well, it can't be moved off of the center line if we're getting technical with it.
Darren, we can assure you this is definitely root beer.
Yep.
Tomorrow morning, it will be myself
All the
and
way back to the middle.
2014 junior national champion Evan McCauley back from Monday night's feature game. Great question from RB Challenged. Why not switch to the Sheet 5 feed only? That would be very logical, but we unfortunately do not have a Sheet 5 only. We kind of have a few extra cameras set up in the middle of the ice to kind of give us the mixed angled views that you get when we're on a Sheet 3 only view. We don't have that for 5. It would make sense to just put the 2 5 overheads together, but that is not a layout that I have available.
Good question.
If I was if I was someone that was actually qualified to be doing this, I'm sure I could have it up in 10 or 20 seconds for you all.
Well, we don't really have many tech companies here in Seattle, so.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
You got stuck with the guy that works in construction.
But you gotta go this way, Russ.
So another one, another yellow rock on the center line. That one also cannot be moved off the center line until after the 5th rock is thrown. Again, playing the no-tick rule here.
Yep.
Team right looking to just come around that center.
Line's good.
Those 2 center guards.
Yep, now. Yep, line. Ah, shit, we did it again.
And it just is going to catch a little extra curl.
That is moved
And-
off. So now the non-offending team has the choice of either
It was on this
having
side,
those
right?
rocks
Just touching.
lay as they lay.
Yep.
That was well done, wasn't it?
Yep.
Or removing the offending rock and replacing their own rock back to where they were before the shot was thrown. 2 options. So, all you, everyone out there, if a rock is coming in and is going to remove on a no-tick rule, do not stop that rock because the other team actually gets a choice. They may like that better.
Now the real question is what happens when that team just intentionally stops the rock?
I'll have to ask you for that. I know you are the rules.
I'm no official, but my assumption would be is that it's just a burned stone, and
Yep.
I mean if it happened
Yep.
after the hog line, the offending skip
Normal.
could choose to place it anywhere they want at
Gotcha.
that point and more or less mimic it.
Got it.
But more than anything, it would just kind of be one of those spirit of curling
Got it.
no-nos that's not really enforceable.
Sean.
right.
The
The
Yeah,
draw.
but technically, if it's after the hog line, the non-burning skip, the skip that would have had choice
That's
on the
right.
non-tick, could place that stone wherever they want.
Got it.
Or move rocks in any configuration, as with a normal burn stone.
So with the last 2, the draw was unsuccessful. Came up with their tight center guard. Ironically, moved it off of the center line and just rolled in. So Team Right chose to peel the top center guard. Was hoping to maybe make that double peel, but didn't quite do that. What do you got over there?
Katie is asking for more commentary that has absolutely nothing to do with curling.
If you need somebody here to help commentate about stuff that has nothing to do about curling, Katie is fantastic.
I got a good taste
That
for
was
20 minutes
so
this morning.
fun today.
I think so.
She is great. She's great at this. So we covered it from the social side into the competitive. It was fantastic. But we did not talk about much curling. Well, we did, but not the actual games. It's more of a
Take the roll as
podcast
far as
than
you
it
can,
was
Sean.
actually curling commentary.
There we go.
Oh, that's a nice peel right
Yeah.
there. Got a couple more off of the center. Just trying to open up that forefoot. Especially for Steve, too. Seems like he has his draw weight down. He made that great tap in 6. He made that great draw in 8. He's like, you know what? Just give me a path. Open up a path.
Absolutely, and that is the general approach usually when you're tied with the hammer in 8th or 9th end, is to just secure as open of a draw as you can on your last rock to as much area as possible. Or not have to throw your last. That is also an option that usually has a pretty good win rate.
That's usually what we try doing. Let's not have Joel.
Well,
throw
with
that.
the no tick rule, I mean, rather than throw the tick, teams are throwing 2 around the center guard a lot more often now. And part of that is that if it goes really well for the hammer team, a lot of times they don't have to throw their last rock because it's really difficult to move 2 perfectly placed stones in the top 4, top 8.
Center guard replaced.
Let's head back this way. Okay.
Again, would love to make a double peel here. Helps them open up that 4-foot path, especially with swingy ice. That red one is, it's a corner guard, but if you're going to use an in-turn later to try to get to that 4-foot, that is in the way.
Good shot, Sean.
Like you said, another one of those rocks that's mostly peeled, but if you were to throw, let's say, take all the yellows out of play right now, it's just those reds, and you're throwing an in-turn draw, I think you'd have to take less ice and try to draw to maybe the right side of the 4-foot as we see it on the screen. And now that different path could be a little different speed-wise, curl-wise.
Another call for center guard. What? Not center guard. Not with that ice. Must be moving a little bit further over.
So I've not really done my due diligence as a commentator and reminding everyone who we are, what this is.
Oh.
It's been since the first end, but I'm Luke Violette. I'm here with Doug Kaufman, the third and vice for Team Larway, who will be playing the winner of LeClaire Ho, which is now LeClaire. We did figure that out. And this is the quarter-final draw. So then the winner of this game will move on to play Paul Pustovar's rink. And the other semifinal tomorrow. Both those semifinals are at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
As well as the women's game. So we'll have women's game. So we'll have 4 of the 5 sheets going, 10 o'clock. So that'll be good. That'll help keep the ice conditions
more consistent.
More consistent, or more, how it has been.
Yeah.
Yep.
I say consistent means different things. Consistent relative to the rest of the week, not relative to the behavior of the sheet within itself.
Yes.
Hopefully both.
Hopefully both. Exactly right. Yep.
The only reason there were no women's draws here in this quarterfinal is because there's less women's teams. Only 9 teams, I believe.
11.
11. No, my bad. Knew it was an odd number, but only 2 pools. So they just took 2 teams out of each pool. So 4 to the playoffs. Whereas on the men's side, needed to take 2 teams out of 3 pools. 6 teams.
Playing the double peel here. One that being a guard, one that's in the rings.
Roll it, Chris.
Tickles it over, and while it doesn't remove the stone, it just bought them an extra foot of area on that final draw. That's what ends up being thrown.
Certainly better than not hitting it. So that was a good shot there.
Yeah, a lot of those draws to win are usually either right on the tee line or just past the hog line or in the hack. But sometimes that extra foot or a few inches makes the difference.
Yep. And he's got that out-turn side accessible. So overall, I would say probably Team Wright is relatively happy with how the rocks lay right now.
I think so.
And then try to get another one, and then it gives us a better chance for unless he's deep.
Farbelo trying to put up another center guard. It's looking a little heavy. They have not laid a broom to this one. Slides into the
That's what I
rings.
was thinking. What do you like that? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. So like there? Yep, yep. You like that? Normal? Yeah, firm, firm.
Couple options here. You could play the slash double and try to give yourself a little bit more
Yep,
space
Good solid. Yep.
into the rings. Looks like they're hitting the inside of this though, so trying to play looks like that top double. Maybe they get a lucky roll out of the red. If they hit it thin, they can make the double that way, although it'd be tough to call.
Well, you might be able to make a triple.
Could make a triple.
Russ.
There's always a triple.
Yes, yes.
Big thing is the top one. You got to hit the top one.
And get your shooter out of the way. Gets the top one, makes the double. Shooter's not necessarily out of the way,
Sorry,
though.
Russ. Sorry, Russ.
Yeah, would have liked to hit that a little bit thinner.
In terms of draw paths and kind of how protected
it
that
was
shot
deep.
Yellowstone is, not a lot changed other than moving that center rock. That was really good. But in terms of like where that red is relative to where the second yellow was, not a lot of difference.
Yep.
So effectively just kind of a straight peel there.
Yep.
Although it is a rock closer to center line now, so it does compromise that draw path even more.
Yep. Team Farblow now does have access to the 4-foot. So they can get a rock into the 4-foot now and make Steve's draw a little bit tougher.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we could have. Well, he would have drawn behind this. Should have called timeout.
Big shot here. Looking to get one in the 4-foot now.
Mike Farbelow's first rock in this extra end. Maybe second, but I think it's the first. Doogie doesn't want to count the 6 rocks I'm counting on the far end, so he's trying to crane his neck and look through the glass to see the 1 rock on the home end.
14.
This is going to really backfire for me
Far
when
as
I
you can, Sean.
miscounted. It's a little on the deep side. Back T line. I'll call it back button.
All right, I kind of like that, eh?
So now I think it kind of forces the
That's it,
hand
yeah.
of Team Ray. It doesn't
Yep.
say force the hands,
Yeah, let's take it. I just want to.
but I think they're going to make a play on that stone. And here's the timeout.
Yeah.
We're going
See how many rocks you left. Make sure that's a big difference.
we're gonna see the actual Jeff Wright.
You know that?
Doogie doesn't believe my counting, so he's stepped away to go on a little
I like that,
investigation.
actually. Draw. But just positive draw. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll turn up this mic here so we can listen to the timeout.
Yeah, because even.
All right, Doogie, what's the verdict?
This
Like,
is the
just
last
off
shot.
half, I'm still.
Oh,
I'll still
that is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it is important. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was 14. Yep. I want to throw like positive draw, right? And if I tap it back, I tap it back. But I think it's there.
Here we go. That's ice edge of 4. I think they settled on the tap. But it is on the straighter side, so that could be
Sean,
ice
tighten it up
for
a
the
little
draw.
bit.
Let's hear. Tighten it up a little bit. I kind of heard Steve say, hey, I kind of want to throw the draw but tighten it up a little. My personal opinion here is that you want to either pick the draw and play the draw or pick the bump and play the bump. I kind of call it, I mean, you can see a fair amount of this
like
rock,
80, I'm thinking?
but I think of this as a bit of false backing
75, 80?
in that if you take the ice you would to normally make the
Yep,
draw
yep.
and you throw it heavy, you're going to sail by. You have to actually take ice to where if you throw perfect draw weight, you're probably going to over curl. So I think the veteran throw here is just to throw the back 4 weight out of hand here. Have an easy sweep on it, a little heavy. Easy sweep the whole way. Oh, they're calling real hard on it. They've got to lean on this one. Oh, they're tight. Not going to roll enough, and that's going to be a stolen victory for Team Farbelow. Wow. Really, Team Wright got the early lead and controlled that game the whole time. And,
Good luck, guys. Good luck tomorrow.
Steve's had a really good week so far. And, like you said, his draw weight's been spot on the whole time. And I think really just got on a different path
really
there.
sorry, guys.
Seemed to just break out of hand a little early, a little more than they thought early in the shot. His weight looked pretty good once again. And one of the challenges is when you are in an extra end and you got to make one of those shots, sometimes the ice is a little different than it was the rest of the game. And if they're forced to throw on a path that's a little different, that sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, it's too bad. That's a tough one to take for Team right there. Great game though. It was close throughout. It was going to be a great game. It was going to come down to the wire. Both games actually did. Just tough to see a last shot of a game not made as opposed to made. So feel bad for him, but this happens in curling quite a bit. It's happened to us many times. Same exact situation. So feel bad for him, but good win for Team Farbelow. They move on, and hopefully we got 2 great semifinals tomorrow.
Yep, I mean, that just, as they always say, makes the shots to win a little bit more sweeter. Wouldn't be sweet without the misses and the devastation that happens every once in a while. But for the casual observer, completely unbiased observers that we are, we just want to see the last rock made in an exciting extra end game. We definitely got the exciting extra end game, and really both games were, I think, a lot of fun to watch and a call. And thank you very much, Doogie, for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's been a little rough the last stretch going by myself, but I'm going to have Evan tomorrow. I'm excited for that. Love calling games with Evan. And thank you all so much for tuning in, leaving all the great comments. Doogie, any closing remarks? Any statement where you are pre-game, pre-final day of this Nationals and how you're feeling about it?
No, just hope either everyone come on down or tune in. We're looking forward to the challenge. We're excited to play, and hopefully you guys are excited to watch, and hopefully we give you a good game.
Yeah, you should be. Doogie and Team Larway have been playing great all week. They've worked really hard for this all year, and I know I'm going to have a fun time watching you guys tomorrow. For those of you tuning in, just to say it again, the semifinal matchup, both men's and women's, there's going to be 4 games out there. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and the finals, 1 men's, 1 women's game, 3 p.m. Pacific. This has been the quarterfinal men's draw at the 2023 Senior National Curling Championships in the Granite Curling Club of Seattle. This has been Luke Violette and Doug Kaufman. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you'd like to support the Granite Curling Club, please like and subscribe to this channel. Have a great evening, and see you 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.